Hey guys, so it's me, Alexis. Today I'm going to give you guys a special treat. This time I'm interviewing Ray Merriman. He is the ISAR conference coordinator in the Emeritus, and he's doing a really cool workshop called Astrology in the Art of Financial Market Timing, How to Forecast Trends and Market Reversals on September 9th from 1:15 to 5:15 p.m. And, before I say anything or ask any questions, I just want to let Ray say hi to everybody. Ray, would you like to say hi?
Sure. Hello, everyone. And Alexis, thank you for hosting this. It's a pleasure to be with you today.
hmm It's no problem. And
Good.
I actually want to ask you a few questions because, ESAR is coming up real soon. There's a lot of details slowly emerging. And, we really want to get the information out there about workshops because workshops are really, really cool, intensive, and really informative.
Right.
So, before I even ask you about your workshop, Ray, like, tell us a little bit about yourself. What makes you different, I guess? Like, what makes you Ray? And, what is your astrological background?
Well, I started astrology in 1967. That's when I started studying. In 1971, at the age of 24, I become the youngest person ever to pass the AFA certified professional exam. I've been in astrology, as you can see, for over 50 years. I know it's hard to believe because I started when I was 5 years old. No, not true. I wrote the first book on evolutionary astrology, which started a whole movement in that category back in the mid 1970s. At the same time, I wrote the Soul Return Book of Prediction. And then in the early 1980s, I got involved with the financial market community. A cycles analyst named Walter Bressert, who introduced me to the gold market. And there I started doing research in gold and various financial markets. And I have now written about 57 books on astrology, and most of them have been related to financial markets.
Wow, that's so interesting. And, going off the financial part, like your workshop is about financial astrology. And
Yeah.
personally, I've only been into astrology for like 4 years, and I know nothing about financial astrology. So, like, an explanation about your workshop would be really, really great.
Well, I'm glad you asked that because the workshop is both for beginners and intermediate to advanced astrologers and market people. If you know nothing about astrology, but you're a financial person, then this course will show you some studies that are done on long-term planetary aspects and financial markets in the past, so we can actually document what happened. Because what I do is I research. I go back and look in history what happened to these aspects and see if there's a common theme or relationship with market highs or lows. And if you're knowledgeable about astrology but nothing about markets, this workshop will also be very good because, of course, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to talk about astrological, planetary, historical correlations to markets. So it will blow your mind to see how accurate, how consistent astrology's been at measuring these long-term cycle trends and even short-term trends for traders. For instance, you can look at just sun-moon combinations. We've done incredible studies on the Dow and the gold market and other markets just based on sun and moon, showing where 4% reversals happen in certain sun-moon combinations. And it's not what you would expect. It's not always a full moon. It's not always a quarter moon or a new moon. Sometimes it's the same element, sometimes the same quality. It all depends on what the sun sign is. So we're going to share some of those studies in this workshop and show you how you can use that to time markets as a trader or an investor.
Wow. That's actually so fascinating. And the fact that like it's financial astrology and finances is always something that's going to be really important no matter how old you are, whether you're into astrology or not, or whether you're into finances or not. So like, your workshop is incredibly relevant and extremely applicable. And I can't wait to see like what you're going to talk about because it sounds really nice and practical. Now, moving on to the actual conference, like
Okay.
why ISAR? Like, what makes ISAR
Ah,
ISAR? And, why go to
wow.
conferences in the first place, What's your
Well,
take on it?
I think conference is the one place you can actually meet people physically and have face-to-face discussions with them and form bonds based on the same language, the language we share with one another, which is astrology. It's hard to find people in your country, in your community who really study astrology. But here's an opportunity to not only meet people in the United States who study astrology, but there's at least 25 different countries represented by the various faculty. And we expect even more people from international community to attend. So it's exciting to see how they practice astrology, what kind of people they are, because, you know, our community is filled with very colorful people, very intelligent people. We're a very highly educated profession. So when you have a chance to actually see these people, meet with them face to face, talk with them, you form lifetime bonds with them, and you have fun and you share educational experiences. And in my opinion, there's nothing else like an ISAR conference. The closest I would say is UAC, which is very, you know, that's an exceptional conference too. I happen to think ISAR is even more intimate, more connected, oriented with people around the world than any conference. So I think it's a great opportunity for astrologers or students of astrology to, you know, to make a connection with not only the subject, but the people who have led the vanguard of astrology and continue to lead it with research and theory in this setting. And I want to point out too, it's in Colorado, the Rocky Mountains. I mean, it's an incredible location we've got here. It's a perfect venue and a perfect hotel for this conference. So I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to be the most exciting conference that ISAR has ever had, and certainly it's going to be the largest. We expect between 700 and 1,000 people. It's going to be large.
Wow, that's gonna be huge. And
Yeah,
also, like, what I thought was really interesting was that you brought up the international appeal because,
yeah,
I mean, I didn't know much about ISAR until I went onto the ISAR social media team for this conference, and like,
yeah.
I was just like scrolling on the website just a little bit, and like compared to like other things that I've seen astrologically, like whether it's other organizations or whatnot, like ISAR has a really, really strong like international like appeal that I don't see. And like that is something that I'm really excited for going into the conference because, you know, it's one thing to be like an American astrologer and have your own American philosophy and your own thinking, but it's another thing to see another astrologer from another country with a
Right.
different background and different culture bringing in their astrological insights. And that is something I'm super excited for.
Well, what ISAR has done, which I think is so special, is created an opportunity, a venue for astrologers all over the world who want to volunteer their time, their resources, their skills, their talents to advance astrology, to make it professional, to make it exciting, you know, and rewarding for those who choose to pursue this as a career. I don't know any other organization that is so open and so inviting uh, and has attracted so many people who want to contribute so much just for the pure um, purpose of advancing astrology. So we all share that in common, that we know astrology works, we know astrology is valuable, but society's just starting to get into it over the last 40 or 50 years for a
Oh, yeah.
subject that's been around for what? Millennium, many
Yeah.
millennium. And now we're starting to lift off the ground in the late 20th century and early 21st century. And there's so many bright minds out there in astrology who want to help that cause, if you will, to provide this subject that in itself provides so much value and so much potential value for the quality of human life.
And what better way to lump all those amazing people onto one conference at a really
Yes.
cool venue? So I think that's pretty much it. You done an amazing job, Ray. But I will say before I end this interview with you, do you have any last words about the ISAR conference or anything you want to let out about your workshop?
Well, the workshop, as they say, is it's going to be an exciting workshop because we're going to apply the major aspects that are going on in the heavens right now, which are so unique and unusual. We got the Capricorn stellium. We got the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction coming up, which is a 20-year cycle, but it also is a shift of elements that happens every 200 years. The first time in 800 years, we've gone back to Aquarius. So how do these things affect the manner in which you want to adjust your portfolio, how you want to invest in your finances for your future security? I think that's what I'm going to try to focus on in this workshop.
Ooh, that's gonna sound really, really insightful.
Thank you.
So I think that is pretty much it for this interview. Ray, thank you so much for coming out here to, you know, talk with me and talk about your workshop and just how amazing ISAR is definitely going to be. And yeah, for everyone who's watching this, thank you guys so much for watching. Me and Ray will see you at the conference.
Right. Thank you, Alexis. Pleasure. Bye-bye now.
Bye.